One.
I just have to make sure I've got.
And welcome to episode 63 of the DayZ podcast with 87.8 Survivor FM. And we are joined today by Marks, as always, who, being the baby boomer, you're a boomer by association by being with me, mate, forgot his webcam. So we're just going to have to imagine these sexy images of Marks with his camo hoodie on. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad.
Very good.
We are joined by Scotty, the PR and brand manager for DayZ. How you doing, buddy?
Hey guys, very good, very good. I was just saying before I jumped on, I've had some peanuts, so I had to just get the things out of my teeth before coming on.
And we've been asked in chat, is he new to the DayZ team? No, Scotty is not new. Scotty, you're over a year probably now, aren't you, mate?
Coming up to my second. It was just before Livonia dropped.
Yep.
I just came in as was gearing up before Livonia dropped, so I jumped in with the team at this point and then just rode the wave with everything that's happened since.
Scotty and Yakub were the golden age of DayZ Twitter, which just gave us so many good laughs way back when the podcast first started. You know, we were in awe of some of the burns you guys did on people. It was absolutely brilliant. How is Yakub, by the way?
He's good. I actually saw him yesterday. I was looking at. I picked up a package from a local area. He used to live in the city as well, so I picked up a package for him, and I saw him yesterday. I had some ice cream outside, a little chinwag and stuff. So yeah, he's good. He's doing really well. We recently, normally I like to sit with my legs crossed. Now I've got some things on my trousers. And don't get the wrong idea. I've just started doing some Warhammer painting, and I've got some stuff on me, or whatever. And yeah, so if you notice any blotches of things, it's Warhammer paint, right? Yeah, we went away like two weeks ago.
A less moral person might have assumed you may be watching some of those hot tub streams, mate, and getting a bit excited, but
possibly got stuck in those ones. Anyway, me and him have been away, and we've had a bit of a DayZ weekend. Let's say we found like a Red Dead cottage with no power, water, internet. Well, we got some data, of course, but bare minimum, and we've survived a weekend with alcohol and baked beans. So we've been doing all right.
It actually sounded pretty cool, man, when you were telling me about it. Just no power, no internet, no nothing, just, yeah.
Yeah, it's the first thing we got was like, what do we do? Okay, I guess we need to get some sticks, logs, and start building a fire. And yeah, it was things started to happen. But then after like 5 minutes, 20 minutes, we just got the beers out and just, chilled out.
There's something good about doing that sort of shit. Just, going back to nature, being a bit primitive and all the rest of it. Have you ever done it, Marks?
Yeah, I've done camping and stuff a bit before. That's about the most I've ever done.
Yeah. I did a 7-day survival course in the army, and it was, 7-day, I think the survival course all up was a month, but then we did a 7-day phase where they just dropped us out and we were allowed to take a knife, and that was about it. And we had to survive for 7 days, and yeah, some shit got pretty real. 7 days is a good length of time. The most memorable part of it was one bloke killing a kangaroo in basically hand-to-hand combat. And if you know anything about kangaroos, they're not to be fucked with. And this guy managed to take one down with just his machete, and yeah.
I think what broke the immersion of everything was, okay, so we're sat at the night time, we're lying down, we're looking at the stars, and then you just see the row of Elon Musk satellites going by, and like, okay, yeah, this took the immersion out a little bit. First time I'm seeing those, actually, because I'm in the city lights, can't really see the skies. But when you're out on sticks, those Elon Musk satellites in one go, Jesus, it's totally surprised me. Totally surprised me.
So we've got a question in chat. How does PR for DayZ work? So tell us a bit about what you do.
So I will handle any like press that would come in or outgoing and incoming. So personal interviews similar to this one. Also working with our news agent outlets and stuff like this, keeping comms and up to date, and especially when it comes around update periods. It's my job to make sure the information is passed on in the correct manner to all the outlets there, so they're able to hand out to all the channels within their branches. So that's that kind of thing. And then there's personal one-to-ones with communities, whether that's a Facebook page, Facebook community, or many Facebook communities. I'll try and get involved with the admins, Discord. There's I guess a few people in chat or you know, content creators like yourself have seen me pop up in various places and try to establish some community connection and do more than just hey, we're doing this event or we're doing this, trying to my thing is just to get more involved with the people and making sure that communication is going backwards and forwards, not just that I'm getting the information out, but also getting the information from the players, from the community, and making sure that gets communicated back to us internally. Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's a brief, but on our Insight, it's I'm doing community support, I'm doing frontline customer service, I'm doing brand management, everything around the merchandise, logos, visuals, video production, audio, support audio. I've got teams I rely on, but I'm like a management of it and try to get everything that will support individual cases like events or updates.
Now, you mentioned merchandise. Recently, you guys put out a tweet about some new merch that you're considering. Yeah,
so there was a leak from our BI office regarding the new mugs. It's a bit of a funny story. I was already looking into making some mugs or have some designs done, and these were samples that were made by one company close to BI. They were sent in, and it was sent publicly online, and then in the group chats, someone was messaging me, "Hey, where do I get these cups?" I'm like, "What cups?" And send me a picture, like, "Oh, one of these." Where did you get that information from? "Oh, your social media." What? Okay, so I went and checked it out, and it was a side project that BI was working on with a few of the cups with different projects, and this sample idea was something that skipped my awareness at the time, and yeah, that's it. So we're looking at some new cups. I will look. I know it's going to be difficult, but I would like to have an additional indicator on the cup for the heat. You know, in DayZ, we've got the heat indicator that says if you're too hot and the arrow's going up and whatever. So the same would be on the mug. Now that it's been quite known that mugs have heat sensitive colors, and I wanted for the indicator to change to know if your coffee is still warm, or I know that people know if their coffee's still warm, but it's a funny little indicator that it's connection with DayZ, and I thought it would work quite well. So we're waiting for some mock-ups on this.
Even if it was didn't like register the heat so much, I imagine that would be quite complex. But if it just, you know, it was quite a large little logo, and as the cup went down, you could assume that as you drink the coffee gets colder and the arrows disappear as the heat is removed from that section. That'd still look fucking awesome. You could sign me up for probably a dozen of those. I'd be fucking all over that.
Any DayZ mugs,
I'll be getting a batch out to you anyway, in thanks of giving the team.
Do you have yours with you right now?
I will be giving you a package of mugs as well, because of what you did with the DayZ.
I was meaning, do you have your coffee mug that I gave you with you right now? Oh, look at that! Hold it up to the camera.
Proof it's being used. I haven't cleaned it in the last day or two, so I'll still use it. It looks disgusting, but it's fine.
Got mine.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're looking at the image that you released for the shirt design. I liked it.
The skull design. Yeah, so we wanted to have some exclusive design that steps away from just the standard Daisy logo, and I was looking for a design that will fit on a three-quarter sleeve shirt ready for summer. It's a typical white area in the middle with black sleeves or grey in the middle, and then with the I'm going to get half of a batch with the Daisy logo and half with the batch with this skull design. Still having some work in progress with the hatch work, but this is like the design that was the first few iterations of where we would like to go with it. I wanted something that was a bit more rusty and not so playful, let's say.
I
I
still
had
think my one's the best. My logo.
I had a suggestion that I reckon would be amazing. It might be a little bit difficult to implement, but there's some amazingly talented artists in the DayZ community. You know, the likes of Winstride. I just can't think of them all off the top of my head. Asmondian does some amazing art as well. A competition where the top 3 voted designs actually get added to the DayZ merch store, and they make a small slice of the profits of the shirts that are sold or something like that. I think it'd just be a fantastic way to you get even some people who aren't as well known to design some DayZ related shirts and get involved with the community. I'd probably buy fucking all of them, but yeah, I think it would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's something that I will definitely be looking at. There's a few competitions that I'm looking at. The next one was going to be a YouTube thumbnail competition.
Ooh,
Um,
Mark's will be entering
but
that one.
It
No,
would
my
be, but I
thumbnails are
think
shut.
it's a little bit of an unfair advantage for the few of the guys in the DayZ community.
Yeah.
Some of the thumbnails that I've seen, wow, I wish I could have some myself on my
A lot of those guys
DayZ.
actually outsource that as well. So you probably
Mhm.
find some surprising names entering.
Yeah, so that was one, but this is also a great idea. We've done one recently via the BI channels to do with the um, paint this picture. It's basically we put some the DayZ foreground, and then
Yep.
the rest was blank, and the guys jumped in. But it wasn't really communicated as a competition where you would win something, let's say. But I will be using the winner's image, and I hope to do the same with other competitions in the future when this could transition into another thing I wanted to talk about. But would like to have these images or pictures are used for some time and will be added to our DayZ stream room backdrop, and will be exclusive there for a little while. Especially the art that I like as well. We have a few things sent in to us, fan art, and I think it deserves to be shown now and again. So I'm looking to decorate our stream room with a bit of content.
I did like some of the responses to that image as well. There was some very clever people. I think Mike Doherty's is my favourite one, the one that's on the screen right now. I'm somewhat of an artist myself.
Wait, I don't see your screen because I don't know what you're talking about. I'll have to have a look.
If you just click on it, there should be a watch stream button. I'm sharing my screen in Discord.
Yeah, I've got this. Ta-da. Okay, got it.
Yeah. There's Mike Doherty's reply to the DayZ art one. But yeah, there was some really good ones that people released. It was interesting to see. Yeah. This one's just.
What's that one about? I don't know what that fixed game means. What do you think that one means?
No. We've got no idea. No idea what fixed game. What is he talking about? What game are you playing? For Plas's dad? That's a weird name. But yeah, no. So there was some very, very good entries as well. That was again one of my favourite, Chris Kapow flying car, just for the meme value.
Yeah, my favorite one there was someone set up a Pokemon background drop
Yes.
and put the bear. This was my favorite, and he works for Bohemia as well. He's on one of the other projects,
Yep.
so he was one of my favorites.
That's
I
great.
actually would like to get this printed as well.
That is pretty cool, that one.
Mhm.
You have to be careful with Nintendo. From what I understand, they're one of the most litigious companies ever.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Maybe not print it.
Yeah. Yeah, just do it yourself for yourself or something like that.
It's going to be my phone wallpaper. Can't do anything with that.
So what else have you got for us?
Okay, so as I've already transitioned into it, we're looking to start a frequent DayZ stream. It hasn't been established how frequent it is yet, but I'm looking to do every 2 weeks a stream on Friday afternoons,
Mm-hmm.
European time. More of a like going home show or more of a relaxing show where we can cover some new stuff. You know how frequent it is for DayZ to release some new news or for us to release some new news. So it's not going to be liable to have, let's say, updates every 2 weeks into what we're doing, what's going on, but more of an idea where I can try out different servers, different community servers, get involved with playing with a few of the players as well as a few of the streamers, and hold competitions, and we'll announce a few things as and when we go along, rather than let's say a tweet or backing of a tweet or more of an explanation to something that may or may not happen at a time. So along with the other community managers, Lynn and Carolina, we'll be looking at starting something frequent, and you'll probably see more of me or start to get sick of me more and more.
No, mate. I still remember back to when Batty and the team were doing infrequent, but there's DayZ streams, and they were always popular, mate. You know, there was always hundreds of people in there. Probably a lot of them there to perv on Batty, but they were well received by the community. It was just great to have that bit of interaction, the live chat. Mark's, you're streaming at the moment. How many people have you got watching you?
About 80.
Yep, I've got 30, which is more than I usually get. You know, you guys actually being publicly out there and able to be interacted with is, I know it can be taxing, but it is well received by the community. They love being able to, get instant feedback from you guys.
Yeah, it's something I really want to do, and not only do it for PC as well. I'm more of a console player myself.
Yep.
Big fan of the PlayStation, so I hope to have a few rounds on the PlayStation and get involved with every part of the community, not just the PC guys, but
That's what
everyone.
we've had to do here as well. You know, a lot of the feedback we got was that we were very PC centric, and we were. So we've got a dedicated part in our Discord now for people to raise console related issues. So it's back on them a bit because I don't play console and neither does Mark's. But I've had comments from people. They're grateful that we've been talking more, even doing specified episodes related to and focused on console. Because I would hazard a guess that the so-called lesser versions of DayZ have more players combined than PC does.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Combined, yes.
Mhm.
It's very competitive, but with the Xbox Game Pass, gives us a huge volume there as well. So in combined, yes,
Yep.
it's far passes on what we're seeing on PC.
Are you guys threatened by Rust being released on console now?
No, to be honest, I anticipated it. It wasn't, it was a concern more from my side than any other concern that I heard internally. Of course, there's a few people that anticipated it, but it wasn't it's not something that we'd like to see ourselves in competition with, or something like this. Like, good luck to them and everything. But we haven't really seen much movement in say CCUs during that release. There was some changes, but there was a few releases during that time, which was Resident Evil and Rust for console came out, but CCU didn't really shift. And then with the recent PlayStation sales, we also got another bump of insurge of players as well.
What does that stand for? Something concurrent users?
Concurrent users, how many users are on the server at any one time?
Yep. So probably the next thing we need to cover is this little weapon that you guys hinted at on the Twitter account. We've got the name of it in the stream chat today, so we're not really teasing too much now, but there was a lot of conjecture in the community. I saw a little thread even in our own podcast Discord. Someone apparently said it was just an M4 with a polymer barrel, and someone else said no, it's an M16, and well, you messaged me and said yes, it is an M16.
Yes. It's the best images I saw was on my Twitter. Fair play to the guy, I've got to really applaud. But he got the front barrel of the M16 and attached it to a bow, and revealed the full model. And that just had me cracking. The rest of the team, I forwarded it onto the rest of the team, and we was always laughing. But yeah, it looks this one. There was a few jokes internally that we had about it as well, including burst fire mode and silencer.
Yep.
It's not the bow, unfortunately. No, it's the M16A2. I wonder if I can take over the screen now.
Now I'll just shut mine down.
Right, this is my first test at streaming, I suppose.
Windstride's a very, very talented artist as well. He's just amazing. It doesn't surprise me that I hadn't seen that until you said it. That's actually very clever.
Right, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
Can you see my desktop? I made it sure that I moved everything into the desktop anyway.
Yep, we can.
Yeah, okay, so...
I like the title of that file. Spaggy, what about Xbox?
This...
Yeah.
I thought I wanted a little... I didn't know it would be noticed so quickly, to be honest. So you can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can. Yep.
Okay, so I wanted to reveal a few of the models as well, while talking about it. To be honest, I don't know too much. I got the basics, information, but it's a new model. It's the M16A2 variant, and it will come with new functionality as well, the burst fire mode.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new thing for us to try. So it's what I would like to say as well. Transitioning into another topic I wanted to bring up was the encouraging a few people, encouraging the community to come and jump on the next experimental with us a bit more, because with this weapon, there's a few balances that we would like the community to be involved in, which is the balances of timing between burst fire modes, the tier selection, if it should be a high tier. We primarily looked at tier 4, but there's a few conversations going around to bring it down one tier for it to be a viable weapon for you to have until you get the M4, and also transition a few of the attachments that will go over to the M4, like the silencer, the mags, and stuff like this. But yeah, this is one of the new additions that I'm happy to show off.
Does it have the custom reload animation, including hitting the bolt assist, the forward assist?
I don't know. I will make a note and find out. I haven't seen it in action. I've seen these are like very early development shots. It's
Yep.
quite rare for us to get these stuff. So I wanted something to be exclusive for the show. I haven't seen the animation myself, no.
Yep.
So it looks like is there a site? Can you add sites to this, or is it just the carry handle site? Is that all you can use?
I think it's I'm 90% sure it's just the carry handle site at this point.
Right. So it would be a medium range gun then. I don't think you'd be hitting many long shots with just pure iron sights. But that's still good.
Yes.
It's nice. I really like it.
I would, yeah, same guess.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
That's not to say we won't do something for the future, but for now, I believe 90% sure it comes without any attachment for scopes.
Yep.
I've got my Slack open just in case anyone wants to correct me from the office. I hope that someone is watching. But they can confirm, or I can come back later. I'll send these images over so you're able to share within your channels first, and then I'll be showing these on the Daisy social channels later. But I wanted something for you guys to have exclusive first.
I like it. I do. It's another weapon that I got to fire in the army, and yeah, it's an interesting weapon, the M16. Especially the burst mode. I do like the idea of the burst mode, because as I said to you in a DM, I'm an absolute potato when it comes to firing on full automatic. So burst might actually help me be a little bit more accurate instead of dumping a. I had a bloke had probably 10 to 15 meters from me, and I had an AKM with a full fucking drum mag, and I think I missed every single shot on him, except for the first time when I only knocked him down and didn't finish him off because I was too scared and ran away. Yeah, I'm an absolute potato, so burst might be nice.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect the same from me when I start streaming. My favorite weapon is the BK133, all the way. Really, for me. It goes from fresh spawn area right up until tier 4 area of the map, and I can basically use the BK133 quite effectively, depending on what ranges I get into, of course. But normally I fall back to this one.
Marks, you picked it, didn't you? The M16?
Yeah, I put it up. I created a post on YouTube asking people what did they think it was, and 95% of the people said it was either an M16A1 or an M16A2. So a lot of people got it right.
Yep.
Yeah, so I hope to have some more fun with the Daisy update trailer. I'm looking at some kind of Scarface connection. Say hello to my little friend reference. But I hope to get something done for the next update. But that's one of the new additions coming in.
Is there any date for when we can expect 113 to even hit experimental? Like
experimental, we're hoping to release soon. One moment. We've obviously had some dates, but I'm not comfortable with releasing anything like too formal right now. I would say middle of July would be a ideal target.
Right. Okay. Sounds good.
On the podcast, we talked about the viability of having experimental deathmatch servers, and that lad has just brought it up in chat. Is that something you guys are going to look at for this next launch, of having some that are just the traditional, but also maybe one in the Oceania region and a couple in NA and EU area, which people can just spawn in with the new weapon, geared, and all the spawns are around, say, the Northwest Airfield or something like that, so that they can just choose to give feedback exclusively on that M16. Get to try it, because that was one of the bits of feedback that we have brought up in the past, that a lot of people don't bother playing experimental because the chances of finding these weapons are going to be rare, so they just don't bother. Whereas if they could just jump in and know that on XYZ server, when you spawn in, you will spawn in with the M16 and 4 mags, and be around a bunch of other people, and you can just deathmatch and get really good hands-on. It'll give you guys more data as well, because there'll be more people using this new weapon.
Yeah, I definitely get the idea, and easier to iterate when analytics are coming in a lot quicker and seeing things on a faster pace. It's an idea, and I can run it by the team.
Yeah.
I think at a first glance, I think the team would like to avoid doing it partially because of splitting the player base, and if we are already you know we're getting a fair amount of experimental CCU or capacity coming through. But I think if we split the player base some more on official, it may deter the focus away from the other things that we will be releasing with the next update that need to be also stress tested along a bigger audience as well. But it's an idea that I'm going to note and at least see the
See, even on
possibility.
that, like the word deathmatch is maybe a bit too much, but so they're going to be spawning with yeah, they might just spawn then with an M16 and a couple of mags on the coast, and increase frequency of if it's a vehicle or if it's another item, just so that they're actually not having to. Because a lot of people are loath to invest the time in the experimental service, because they're only going to be experimental for a little while, and they're committed to their community server or something like that. Whereas if the frequency of spawns of those items is turned up, then they might be prepared to, I'll go and spend a couple of hours and get to drive a new vehicle or test a new mechanic or test a new weapon or something like that. If they know that there's certain servers they can jump on, and it's going to be not vanilla rates of spawn of items, but increased, or they spawn with that stuff already.
Yeah, it's a great idea, and I like the idea at least taking it down a few tiers for it to be more easier to pick up, at least in the earlier stages of experimental until those
Yeah.
balances have made some
They-
changes.
I remember they done back when they were testing 6.3 and it was like on the new engine and stuff. They done that. They put up like these experimental servers, like deathmatch servers for I think it was only a couple of hours at a time, and it was impossible to get into these servers at the time. They would be so full, and it was great fun because you could run around. They'd give you a gun, and you could just run around, gun people down. It was really good fun. So it would be cool to see.
Yeah, even if it was done during business hours for you guys, right? We're about to put the deathmatch server live for 2 hours. Jump on and give us your feedback, and here's the link, and yeah.
Yeah, something I can team up with the streams as well. Definitely, anything to bring a bit more attraction there will be beneficial for everyone.
Right. Has anybody in chat got any questions for Scotty while we've got him? But Marks, have you got any questions you'd like to ask him?
People are asking in chat. I don't know if you can say any or even say anything about, but people are asking about base building changes. Anything planned in the future or down the road? I think it's a lot of console players are kind of wanting to know different things on that side.
I don't know of anything that is focused on base building for the 113. I know there will be further improvements down the line for the Q4 or the later updates. But for the 1.3, no. Some of the focus is going on console, but not in this area. If that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. And a personal question as well. Any changes or updates coming to the damage system and stuff in 1.13? Are they tweaking that
Yes.
more?
I guess this is further iteration on the breastplate or the plate carriers, press vests, and one hit shots, arm damage, chest damage. This is all still a balancing. We had to cut off from the last hotfix because it needs to be cut off. It needs in a development cycle. You need to cut off at one point and prepare for the next update. It was good enough to go to the next update, and this is where further changes should come along.
Okay, that's good.
So yes, more changes to do with the balancing. Yes.
That's good to hear.
And to touch on like the article, again, I can't go into too much details, but one of the biggest thing for this year will be the new environmental threat. I can't say details about it, but it's one of the let's say cornerstones to this year, or one of the big things to look out for.
Is that I don't know if you can even say, is that last update of the year, or will we be getting any teasers in 113?
I think it's towards. I think we've already been putting work into it, or progress is already going into it. But it's looking it's looking like it's going to be towards the end of the year, like the finale of 2021.
Okay, look forward to it.
Same similar. What you've seen with the events, the Walpurgis of the Night, the Witch Hunt event, the egg capsule, the Easter egg capsule event. This is stuff that we would like to continue doing. And the next one I'm gearing up for is Easter, because there's a few of the assets I can. It's Halloween. It's one of my favorite holidays. So I'm already getting some ideas in place and for functionality to cover this event. I'm looking at doing something funny like the Easter event, as well as serious cosmetics as well. And this is where we can recycle stuff from the Witch Hunt event, maybe get some additions. I don't want to promise anything because my asset guy will probably kill me when I get off stream. But yeah, there's a few things that I would like to recycle back in and get a few additions ready for Halloween.
Okay, sounds good.
Now, while I've got you here, mate, I want to give a personal thank you to you and Sumrak and the rest of the dev team for something that you're going to be implementing into the game in the next patch as well. I'll just share my screen, but we did talk about this on the podcast a while back. That was a fellow by the name of Doc Satan passed away, and he was a very stalwart member of the DayZ Down Under community. And I reached out to you guys and asked on behalf of DayZ Down Under if there'd be any possibility of getting a permanent memorial in the game. So this was back in March, and you guys just, we will look into it. We couldn't do it for 1.12, but 1.13 is doable, and the DayZ Down Under community actually raised over $4,500 for Doc Satan's funeral to help pay for his costs, because being a young fella, that's probably like most of us, we don't have funeral insurance and stuff like that. Whereas that small little community, not so small now, it's got a full server, even at 100 slots, but they managed to raise almost $5,000. And then out of the blue, on May 27th, you guys sent me this image that is going to be put in behind the terminal at the Northeast Airfield. If you're wondering about the UN or the AN helmet, Doc was a member of a faction called the UN on the DayZ Down Under servers. He loved his UN, was a long-time member, and even when it was only a handful of players, you'd still always find Doc running around with his UN helmet and armband and blue plate carrier that they had. And this is going to be a permanent memorial for him that's being added into the game. So on behalf of DayZ Down Under, mate, I'd just like to thank you, and I see Adam's in chat as well, for doing this. It means a lot to I knew Doc, but I didn't know him well. But for those who did know him well, like Spud, who's in chat right now, this is going to mean a hell of a lot. One question that I'll have from a lot of people, and Adam's in chat, is the helmet going to be lootable?
I would say no, but I'll let Adam answer if he's in chat.
Good. I would hate the idea of people stealing the helmet. I imagine there's going to be a lot of frustrated people going, why can't I get this helmet? But yeah, I like the fact that it's just going to be a permanent little memorial there. And the fact that you guys added the helmet means a lot. And we will definitely share this with his family and friends as well. I'll send that image through to them so that they can share it in the relevant discords. And just want to thank you guys so much once again. That's just an amazing. Like I said in the message there, I legit choked up. And the reason I'm mentioning it here is, as you can see on the screen, I said to them, would let you guys announce this, and you guys said you don't promote this kind of stuff, more out of respect for individuals. They are welcome to promote it, but not on us to do. Well, I wanted to thank you personally, and I'm pretty sure Spud would have given me an uppercut for not thanking you guys personally on this small platform that we have with the podcast. So, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a
very good.
beautiful thing, and I think like Adam and would agree, something like this it's very powerful. So it's something that I think it's good for the community. It's a few it's okay. There's a few areas within DayZ that have a link to something similar that may have happened in the past. So there's a few areas, not just this one is his, but there are other areas that this similar nature has happened in the past. Someone's reached out, give us some bad, like let us know of the bad news, and they wanted some area to pay respects or meet that friend they never really met in real life, but got such a bond. They wanted some place where they could memory. So there is actually places like this within DayZ. I wouldn't like to bring attention to them to avoid any defacing or any disrespect to those locations. But yeah, there's a few places that you walk past that have hidden meanings or yeah, respects to them.
Spud saying in chat that Doc would laugh at the idea of a lootable helmet. He probably would too. That was the sort of character he was. He loved nothing more than getting absolutely shit-faced and playing DayZ. I don't know how he could do it. I can't play DayZ sober, let alone be drunk and fucking, yeah. But no, thank you guys so much. Now, there were a few questions in chat here. Vodka Cupcakes, question for Scotty. High heels yet?
Sorry, repeat?
High heels yet from Vodka Cupcakes?
No high heels yet, no.
Dino's Bino, I would like to ask what PR they will be doing for modding in the Steam Workshop and modders in particular. It's something that we've talked about, you probably know quite a bit about. There needs to be as much, or if not more, attention. And we did like the fact that in the last Community Spotlight there was a mod mentioned. But it seems like the streamers get a lot of attention, the YouTubers and that. But without the amazing mods, pretty much everyone can say, and that, that's not having a go at the DayZ dev team. Bohemia have generally always built their games so that the modders can help take it to the next level. We've been saying that there needs to be more attention given to some of these amazing mods. We've got a couple that we're going to be showcasing tonight on the podcast, the S Gunplay one that Marks has been looking into. But we would love to see more marketing done of some of the amazing mods. I know it's a bit hard because they're done by third parties and so on, but at the same time, that's the same for videos. They're done by third parties as well.
Yeah, you're correct, and there has been some cases where we have promoted or I have promoted mods when expansion kind of dropped again. It's something I promoted on the DayZ, or at least did a share. Same with Namausk. eSeeker, I reached out, but they're not really fully released yet. So he knows to reach out to me when he's when it's fully released. Same with a few of the mods. I do have a look, but like you said, I have to be careful of what I'm looking into because there's some hidden legality behind maybe a few or something like this, and I don't want to open a can of worms and start chasing things, and two, I try to keep the focus on the stuff that is happening. But like you said, they do deserve some more, and I am keeping an eye out for them. Where would DayZ be without the community of modders, right? There wouldn't be DayZ, let's say.
Where would Armour be without the community of modders as well? It's a business model that works well. Create the base game and let the modders do their thing to customize the game to what the people enjoy.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's already, let's say, a cornerstone within Bohemia's mentality. The stuff that you see on Arma, where we're trying to give more functionality to the players for them to create their own scenarios, or not only give a sandbox, but give all the tools in the sandbox as well to create these things. I know that DayZ's an older game. There are limitations there, but the DayZ dev team, for example, are trying to give more support to modders. At least work with them closely as and when it's suitable. But yeah, more tools to modders is something that we're looking and continually doing to support. But more on the marketing side, yes, can be done as well.
Question that is going to be a hard one for you, but I think it was last week or the week before we were talking about the Northeast Airfield. Do you guys have any plans for revamping the Northeast Airfield? Like the kind of vibe we get from it at the moment, that some changes were made way back when, you know, there were plans still for choppers and light planes and so on. And you know, it made sense to have this airfield with a small industrial where you might find parts for the plane and that. But now it seems like the concept of choppers and that is not going to be happening anytime soon. Watching your body language, trying to read into.
No, is that seems like a hidden question within a question. What should I answer first? The changes to the map?
Forget about the choppers thing. We've talked about that before on the show. Your camera's just frozen in a really lovely pose too. Oh, we lost him.
He dropped.
There we go. I think about a dozen people probably just screenshotted the image that you froze on then, Scotty.
I'm back. I don't know if I'm back. I can't see anything.
You're back.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, that wasn't planned. That just cut out on its own. Maybe someone back at the office just pulled the plug on me. I don't know.
Oh, he mentioned the chopper word. Yeah, his boss pulled him for the M16 shots. But we've talked about choppers before. That's a bit of a flogging a dead horse. This is more about the Northeast Airfield. It just seems like it's a wasted space at the moment, especially for somewhere that has such a legacy of being a great location for PvP, especially. Right now, hardly anyone goes there unless it's a community server that have modded the location. I reckon if you check the heat map of vanilla, there'd be bugger all people bothering to go there. There's a couple of military containers, and that's about it.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard one for me to answer. I think Adam's best in this case, but I haven't seen any focus for the remainder of this year to add. I know there has to be some changes with a few of the things that we would like to include with the new environmental threat. So whether that will have some changes to some of the locations as well, that's yet to be seen or discussed with me. But I don't know of any changes that are coming to the Northwest Airfield, as in placements or changes. Maybe tweaks to collisions and stuff like this, or fixes to say broken like collision walls or something like this. This looks like it may have some focus, or areas where you can get an exploit or a glitch to happen. Then that this will be looked at or as and when. But I've seen nothing on the roadmap that indicates any overall change there. No.
Like, I suppose you could argue, Marks, that as boring as the location is in vanilla, it is a great blank canvas for community servers to do what they want with, now that we can customize locations in the game.
Yeah, it is good that way. I've customized it myself once as well. It is fun to do, but I can see where maybe like console players, for example, would be a little bit frustrated that it's just such an empty kind of barren landscape. And I understand why they've done it as well, because of adding these small planes that were meant to be added, and helicopters and so on, but never were. So it'd be cool to see something done with it at some stage, or anything at all. But
Yeah. I obviously empathize. Playing on console myself, I see what's missing. I know the advantages and disadvantages of both. I know that let's say console is a step behind PC in what content is out there, but in any case, in modded or in a modded environments of PC, they always have an advantage, and it's always a catch-up game for any catch. It's always a catch-up game for studios to keep up with some of the mods that say get popular. Um, with console, I play especially a lot. I play the Conquest servers, and it's away from the basic setup of a survival or spawning on the beach. You basically have two areas you spawn. One's at one airfield, one's at the other. You got all your loot and gear and cars and everything you need to use on console, and the same at the other area. You've got blue bands versus red bands. They spawn in straight away, and there is an event throughout the map that you're taking over all the cities up and towards the next one. And that's where I get my fix on console for using a car. That's where I get my fix for driving the V3S or having a go on an M4 or an AK. But that's not to say that, I have my moments where I do like going on vanilla servers, official servers, and I'm not looking for that experience where I want a PvP. Most of the time, I'm looking to chill out. I've had a hard day at work. I just want to cook some meat on a fire in the forest, survive against the wilderness, let's say. And mostly, I would try to attempt to talk to another person rather than shoot on sight. At least do the on console. It's a bit more difficult to put you to raise your hand. I know that for sure. So we have a common thing of like ducking and sitting down and standing back up to kind of show that you're friendly. So I'll be spamming the crouch button on console and attempt to speak with people rather than doing full on shootout on vanilla. But yeah, I'm not saying that's enough. I'm saying that's something for those players that don't know and want to experience that is possible on console, and I do it quite regularly.
Now, Valis Mike in chat has pretty much got the same idea as what I have for my next question. We've seen the highly successful release of the community DLC Prairie Fire for Arma 3. And is there any chance of something like that coming to DayZ? I'm just looking at player numbers. Yeah, the player numbers haven't really changed that much over the last month. Let's check 3 months. No, a bit of an increase there. So I'm guessing that's around when Prairie Fire was released. Is there any possibility of something like that for DayZ?
I would. It's hard to answer. I'm not saying it's not possible. It's something that needs to be looked into, and then I can answer the question. It's something that I haven't got round to even discussing, so I couldn't say on this occasion if it's something that can or can't be done.
Okay.
Sorry to cut that one short. I just don't know.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Because it'd be something that we talked about, wasn't it, Mark? A bunch of there's so many amazingly talented modders, and if a bunch of them team together, like the Prairie Fire mob did, who I have reached out to, but I imagine if they're going to go on any podcast, they'd go on the Arma podcast first. But if they do go on that, we'll have to link to it, because that'd be a fascinating discussion to find out how they went about doing that, and creating this amazing endorsed mod, because as you know, Scotty, we've always talked about how hard it is for modders to monetize what they do.
Minefield, absolute minefield.
It would be. Any other questions from chat? Just looking to see if I missed any. How closely do you guys work with the Arma 4 team? You can blame Scarl Speeder for that one.
That was good. That was good. That was good.
I have a question from my chat. This
Go
from
on.
Console Player again. Is there any fix coming to fix duping on console? Or
Yeah,
is-
it's something I don't want to bring too much attention to because I don't want to ever challenge hackers, dupers, or anything like this. There
Yeah.
will always be attempts or progress or focus going towards fixing duping. Yes,
Mhm.
it's an ongoing issue, and we have to, it's like whack-a-mole, scenario.
Yeah.
Instead of focusing on, let's say, a particular dupe, glitch, or hack, the team is focusing on getting to the root causes and taking attempting to try and wipe that out at some point, or as and when we can fix certain issues.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Scarl Speeder had a
Yeah.
genuine question though. How can we help you guys? What can we do the most to help you guys? Obviously, play experimental when it's released, but it sort of ties into something someone else had put in there. Mr. Dan, what's the best way to get suggestions to the development team? Is the feedback tracker best? Twitter, Discord, all of the above?
Primarily, I would say the feedback tracker. Yeah. I know that a lot of the people in the community try to avoid it. I know it's a bit tedious, and we were trying to get some focus on trying to make that a bit smoother process. But that's our biggest and area where we can keep track of all the incoming stuff. Now, there are cases within Twitter where I'll try and pick up and pass on. That's where I said my frontline customer service comes into play a little bit. But if you want it to be really recorded, do your usual, but always follow up with a ticket. I know that the ticketing system will check for duplicates if you're looking for certain things. So sometimes it can be an area where you can learn that this problem is already happening, and you can just upvote on the ticket. But yeah, I would say keep it to the normal via comments on our on our posts, on our YouTube videos. All these comments will help us in the long run, whether that's getting feedback or helps the algorithm of our social medias. All that will help. So yeah, comment the way you normally do, but if you really want something to know that is being looked at and checked, follow up with a feedback tracker ticket.
I have one more question from chat, and you mentioned this in the roadmap as well, and cars or vehicles in general. Is there any? Are they still working on trying to get cars fixed where they'll actually be stable to use at some stage this year, or have they kind of focused somewhere else?
No, focus will still go on the stability of the game, which will then in turn you'll see the improvements that would happen on the likes of cars or desyncs on a few of the things, or so we are putting the focus in stability, which in turn will improve those things as well.
Okay, good to hear.
The last question that we have to ask, we had him on the show last week, and Mackay has asked it in chat. How many millions of dollars are you guys going to give Mr. Utah to keep making the DayZ live action series?
We've already sent him out some merch. I will try and sweeten him up with some more merch as well. He's got me as a DM, and we've called a few times as well. So we've got a bit of a connection there. So is he asking for millions now? He was very cheap to begin with.
He does look like kind of a cheap guy, doesn't he? No. I love those series, and it was great to see you guys actually tweet it out to share it out there, because they're just so well done. Amazing work.
Yep.
Yeah, I loved it, and I love the fact that he was being sponsored by a few, and I think I'm pretty sure that Lax also gave him a a little bit of a sponsorship there. He's doing great content, and all of us in the studio are checking it out, and I'm very excited by where it's going. There's more I would love to do with him, but unfortunately not at a stage where we can go any further than supporting with some merch and some keys and stuff like this. But in the future, I hope to do some more with Mr. Utah.
The YouTube algorithm can be very cruel. I still don't understand. Only 8.3 thousand views on the episode 3, whereas he's got 10 times that number on episode 2 and almost double the number of episode. Nearly 140k views on the first episode. It's just such a weird beast, YouTube. Okay, I think that about wraps it up. There's a question there about, I guess, questions about bows are not welcome. There will be a bow tie.
Bows are welcome, just not possible. Not possible.
Yeah.
At this point, and definitely not the focus right now. With the amount of animations and stuff, it's not the focus. You're likely with the updates, apart from the last one, which is going to be a bigger one. You'll see similar to what we've seen in the past, which will release a few new assets, some fixes, and some balancing, and keep it humble and keep this ball moving. And with every update, a few hot fixes to follow. It seems to be working as a great template over the last year, 2 years. So there's no reason to change it up right now. I know that a few people are saying, don't do that, focus on this, or don't do this, focus on that. Everyone's got their own niche of things they need to be focusing on. So from us, we're trying to roll out a balance between all the things that need to happen. So a few new assets, a few fixes, balancing, and a few events to follow and stuff like this. And this is similar to what we'll look to have with the every update.
I have one last question that I got, and it's in vehicles as well. Doesn't have to be this year, but sometime down the road. Is there any chance of something like the UAZ or something from Arma 2 that would make an appearance in the game sometime down the road? Or is there any new vehicles in people's thoughts at the moment on the dev team or anything like that?
Motorbikes.
Okay, so let me put a better picture. There is a backlog, an area within our system that has pictures and models of things that we would like to get into DayZ. So yes, it's in our minds, or it's been recorded, or we make note of previous versions, legacy versions, what was in DayZ before. And that does include helicopter models, that does include other models. Yes, so these things are being recorded, looked at from time to time. When it comes to a planning cycle and checking what needs to be done for the next update, the team goes in, analyzes what can be done with the assets we have available, what the team has available, and a plan gets rolled out for a update. Now, this doesn't happen time or doesn't happen at the point of a release. It can happen right at the start of the year. We have a high level goal we want to achieve, and then we will stress a few things, move a few things around, but overall we're trying to achieve a certain thing for the year. But yeah, no, I've seen no models for cars or any vehicles for this year at least. Not in the works, not in focus.
Okay.
Anything else you'd like to discuss before you head off, mate?
No, that was it. I think I want to say thank you for having me, and
thank you for coming on, mate.
As well. There's a few people, not just streamers, but there's a few guys in chats within the chats, the mods and stuff like this that I like to say hi to as well. And thanks for everyone that's been very warm to me and the DayZ community managers. And I've covered the few things, just the encouragement on experimental, the DayZ streams that I would like to start, and reveal of the M16 and a few teasers of a few things. So from my side, I'm covered.
Awesome, mate. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. We all love this game, mate. We want to see the best for it, and being able to interact with you, every few months or so is just it's amazing. It really is.
I'm really appreciative of it, and I've got to say, continue what you're doing. The podcast is definitely a show that we're watching within the team every week. Everyone is watching it, and it's something we get a lot of valuable from. Whether we may not necessarily agree sometimes, but having that discussion and seeing people talk about things happening within this podcast, within a few podcasts I've seen, within streams, within YouTube videos, all this does get recorded in some way, and feedback does get drawn and stuff. So all this is great value to us, really.
Just had someone in chat say we helped them make the switch to the dark side. He's got a PC coming this week.
No, I've got a PC. I play DayZ on the PC, but I mostly play Warhammer. I've just got into Warhammer. I don't know what's happening to me right now. Started painting some stuff. Started using the Warhammer game and
dyed your hair.
I
Oh
do
my
that on
god,
the
mate!
PC
You're
now.
going hippie on us.
Yes.
I know what you're doing. You're copying Lax Hawthorne.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, he's gone for the beanie
I need a
look
wig.
now.
I need a wig first.
No, he
There's
got
no
rid
way
of the
I
wig.
can
He got rid of the
match-
wig. He's gone beanie now.
Ah, okay. So maybe I can pull off just the beanie look.
Yeah. It's a good look though, mate. And thank you once again for coming on and for the praise of the show. Yeah, we love doing it, mate. Every week it's a slow week, and then we still end up with a pretty much full agenda. This game has still got a lot of life left in it yet.
Fantastic. Thanks for having me, guys.
DayZ 2.0
Appreciate
when?
you coming on.
What's when?
DayZ.
Helicopters? Okay, I'm going. Bye.
See you, mate.
See you guys. Bye.
See you later.
I love everybody. He's got such a great sense of humour. I've got so much time for Scotty. Scale Speeder's little question was an absolute cracker. Almost got him.
It did. Buddy, I'm just going to deafen up for 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So, folks, we've got a pretty live agenda for this week. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is, did anyone go and read this? I found this an absolutely fascinating article to read. And this is the CEO of Bohemia Interactive, Marek Spaniel. I highly recommend that all of you go and read this. I should have actually checked the agenda and talked about this with Scotty while he was on, because it was a fantastic read, and they do talk about DayZ a bit towards the end. It got me learning more about Operation Flashpoint and the move to Armour. Where is it? The section where they talk about DayZ. This was actually pretty interesting as well. The early days of Operation Flashpoint.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
Just talking about the Marek Spaniel Meet the Bohemians interview. Did you read it?
I haven't even heard of this. Let me check it.
It was a really big interview.
I see.
They talk about Armour 4 in it. Just trying to remember.
That is.
Talk about why a lot of long-time developers have left the studio recently.
Goes real in depth then, by the looks of it. Or
Yeah.
sense of it anyway.
Yeah, I was surprised at how in-depth they went. Shows, they obviously there's a few questions that we would love to ask, but I was quite impressed with the overall, just the entire interview was You know, he talks about when two of the staff were arrested in Greece on suspicions of espionage, and
Jeez.
yeah,
Explain for me, who is Marek? Am I
he's the
pronouncing that right?
CEO of Bohemia Interactive.
Ah, okay. That's pretty cool.
The big boss man.
Maybe we should reach out to him, see if he'll be a guest. Quiz him.
Yeah. Worst he's going to say is no. I'll do that. Good idea.
Yep.
But yeah, I've shared it in chat. Highly recommend that you all have a read of it. It was actually quite an interesting read. Adds a bit of humanity to the person who is behind the company.
Yeah.
Now, we had a topic in chat regarding... why did it not link? Have I not linked the right thing again? Oh, no, here it is. So from Scarecrow, I think the player movement speed is too high. A quick Google shows that players move full sprint. Let me just share my screen. There we go. Players move full sprint at the speed world-class runners can only maintain for a few seconds. Our gear does not slow us down. Sure, you can argue it is a necessity due to a lack of vehicles in the hill terrain of Chernarus. That being said, tracking players Duke and sidesteps is harder for the average player than Call of Duty. I think if DayZ took movement beyond a stamina bar and made the sprint and jog speed realistic, survival would be 10 times more important. Players should not be able to cover 144 kilometres in just a few hours. Towns you reach should be homes, not speed runs. Loot-wise and mechanics, this may not be possible, but with just a few minutes playing a deathmatch server, it's clear we move far too fast and in inhuman ways. This would likely require a rebalance of loot. It's frustrating playing on some of the most hardcore survival servers, and with any amount of DayZ experience, thriving because I can loot town after town in less than an hour. DayZ should be about risk and reward, and there is no survival risk when I can clear out Cherno and in just a few minutes clear Electro, and if I feel so inclined, run up to Berezino. That being said, the stamina bar is removed from damn near every community server. No doubt players do not like the idea of limited movement. That being said, take this mini book with a grain of salt. I play DayZ purely for the survival elements. Combat-wise, give someone a knife and me a LMG, and I promise I'll lose. Now, I agree in principle, but the main thing I said in my reply was I don't think we should make bad judgments based on the fact that many community servers turn stamina off. It's an interesting topic, though, and added to the agenda for this week. Now, a lot of people do play the no stamina servers, Mark. You play them yourself, don't you?
That's what I mainly play, yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't really know. I don't have an answer. Does that make sense? Like, see, it's a very hard one, because if you slow down your character's running speed, or if they toned it down in game, people would be giving out about it, and I don't know. I really don't know.
Because this would have the biggest impact on console. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but they can't do no stamina on console, can they?
Not that I know of.
Yeah. Yeah, so I agree with it in principle, but I just don't think it would work well player-wise. Maybe it's something someone could look at for a mod to make movement a bit more realistic, a realistic movement mod. But I imagine that there would be an absolute shit ton of work that would need to go into customizing the loot table. Because if it's going to take you an hour to get to the next town, yeah, the loot table at the moment, just wouldn't suffice for that, especially on a hardcore server. It'd be a very, very complex animal to implement.
I don't think many people like it if you suddenly change the speed of your characters as well. People are used to that as well, and that's just how it is.
Yep.
You don't see people in Call of Duty giving out, or Battlefield giving out about how fast their characters run or anything like that. I've never heard anybody really give out about player movement being too high or something. I don't really know.
Oh, I've heard the comment before about we run at faster than Olympic fucking athlete speeds. you've only got to look down when you're running and your feet actually slide a bit in the running animation.
Yeah, but it's just, yeah, I don't know. It's a game at the end of the day. If you keep, changing stuff and making everything super realistic, the game just will be unplayable. It's just too boring.
And Dancer Jesus actually did some testing of it and found some interesting stats there. So what I did is that I started from the entry sign of Cami Showboat to the exit sign of Cami, east to west, and I stayed on the right line of the road. So what's interesting is that 0.62 is in fact slower, not by a lot, but you can feel it, and on long runs it probably makes a difference. And so I was certain that having a weapon in your hands was slowing you down back then, but it seems like it's not the case. Maybe it was a thing before 0.62, then can't tell. But what's even more interesting is that you are way slower when starving in 0.62. Someone on my review video told me that he was using that to his advantage back then. Didn't think much of it until now. Yeah. So, some minor differences there. 0.62, 1.12. About 3 seconds faster over... I'm not sure how far that distance is. He didn't put that in the test, but I imagine it's only a few hundred meters. But yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
Mm-hmm. It is. What else have we got on the agenda tonight? This is not DayZ related, but this just showed me what we are getting at with some of these games. Someone shared this Scale Speeder, that's right. Rust now has IFTTT integration, so you can order a pizza to your house directly from your base. Let me just share my screen again. Or automatically let all Twitter followers know your base is being raided. What will your this and that be? So IFTTT integration is this webhook software that is free, but you can get an upgraded version of it. That basically stands for if this, then that. And as you can see, if you were killed by another player, then post a tweet asking everyone to kill that player. If you were killed in Rust, then blink the office lights. When a smart alarm is triggered with the word pizza, then place my Domino's easy order. This blows my mind.
That's interesting. Yeah, I can see how that could be like really toxic, though, especially with
games. Oh yeah, but at the end of the day, just even having notes in the game is something that people, just because a few people are going to be dicks with it, doesn't mean it should be stopped for everyone. If we did that with everything, even though some people might want that at times, we wouldn't be able to do absolutely fuck all. We wouldn't be able to do this podcast. If I'm being raided, turn my blender on. But no, that blew my mind. I think that's absolutely awesome. Just imagine if you could set an if this then that. My base is being raided. If a wall is broken in my base by a player, tweet out or post in Discord or something like that. We're being raided. That's probably one of the most logical, or well, not logical, but one of the most obvious uses for it that I can see.
Yeah. I remember, I think it was a mod or something that was created for DayZ where it was something similar.
Yep.
But it was, if your base was getting raided, it would send a notification to your phone to leave you know that you're getting raided. Which in Rust, Rust isn't a very, what's the word? Is it immersion? You're not going to break your immersion in Rust, but in DayZ that'd be kind of immersion breaking. So depends on the game, I think. But it's a cool idea.
No, great. Just even just purely from the tech perspective of it. So now we have the one that you've been looking into, mate. Have you done your video on Simon Vic's S gunplay?
I have, yeah. I sure have. It's It's cool. It was a lot of mixed reactions as well. A lot of people were like, "I hate it," and then a lot of people were like, "We need this in base game now." So it changes recoil for most stuff. A ton of other stuff. So I don't even think I scratched the surface with most of it. But it's pretty cool. If I can get the thing. So it has a slower focus as well. You know, when like you zoom in, that is slower. ADS speed is slower. Slower and smoother, and I think it's a lot better in my opinion. Some people don't like it, but trying to find the rest of it. There's a reduced FOV while ADS, weapon weight, and I think inventory weight and stuff does a lot to affect how the gun performs, or your character performs as well.
Yep.
So it's cool mod. It definitely still needs a bit of tweaking and stuff. It is only brand new out as well, so you know, it will take a while for servers to tweak it and stuff, but I mean, it's cool potential. It's very Tarkov-like.
Yep.
The gameplay with it. It is very, very Tarkov-like.
Looks like a lot more recoil with some of the guns.
Yeah, like for Mosin or shotguns. A lot more recoil. Which makes sense, like, because if you're going to shoulder fire Mosin, it's probably going to kick like a mule anyway, so.
Looks like about another good meter in recoil from that 7 or 8 round burst then.
Yeah.
Dino's wondering, is it data led or random number changing stuff?
No idea.
No idea.
I ain't a scientist, I'm not too sure.
And Boydie misses a whole clip on someone give 10 subs. Mate, you wouldn't have enough money to fucking be able to do that. I'd miss them fucking every single time. I love it. I think it's bloody amazing what he's done. So I'll share the link in chat for people who want to learn more about it. What were you going to say?
Looking at a video and actually playing it, the video doesn't do it justice.
Yep.
If that makes sense. So if you I know DayZ Rearmed have a deathmatch server up with this mod on it that they want to test out. So if you want to check it out, I would recommend playing that. It's really cool.
I like it. Anything that makes the game a bit more hardcore, you know I'm going to like that.
Yep.
I do wonder, though, like how much mods like this are impacted when they do change the game's core vanilla stats.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like when 1.13 come out now, will this completely break?
Yeah. Jad's saying it's mostly data led in chat.
I don't know what data led means or anything, but I'm going to assume it's a good thing.
It shouldn't be random, in my opinion. You know, guns. The more you get to know them, the more you get to learn the recoil and things like that of them and compensate for it. Dazzy's saying they just put that on the Karma Crew test server. That'll be interesting. You know, a lot of the guys are PvP on the Karma Crew server, so that'll get some good feedback for it. But yeah, definitely a fan of it, Simon Vic. Now, I shared a image in the chat, which I'll bring up, but I've been struggling all week with where I sit on this. Someone shared this with me. I won't say who, but season pass for a community.
What do you mean for like a server, a community,
a community server?
Like...
Yes. Skin season pass, €15 a month. Automatically applies skins for the SR25 Barrett, M9 Bayonet, M24, Mark 14, UMP, M4A1, ORM, SA58. Buy now, and there's some images of the skins. Blue DD Pat and SR25 Galaxy, ORM Ice, M4A1 Weed, Mark 14 Beast, Barrett Fade, UMP Fade, Donations benefit the server. Our monthly cost £260 for a root server, £60 Daisy SA promotion, £50 marketing advertising, £25 Discord bots, £100 custom closed designer for clan packages, and other costs for website domain, mod sources, so €500 a month, which I totally believe. I totally believe that that's how much is going into it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an issue with it.
I don't either, but I think the thing with this is, I think season passes themselves are kind of dead, and you'll see this with games like what was it called, like Call of Duty and stuff like that. Years ago, you'd have to buy the season pass to get all the DLC, and there was no real other way you could get it. Whereas nowadays, and it's the same with like Fortnite and all these big games out there nowadays, that it's all free, and you have an option to buy it or not. So it's like if you go into that server, if you go into that server and you haven't paid for it, like if you kill somebody with that skin on their gun, for example, are you able to pick up that gun, and will the skin be on that gun, or will it like disappear or something like that? It'd be interesting to see how that works. I just don't think many people are a fan of kind of season pass and having to pay for in-game items like that anymore. They'd rather reward to it. And I know Daisy's different, where there's no level up system or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe people will like it. But yeah, I mean, I don't care either way. I'm not, not bothered. Just as long as they're not scamming anybody, they can knock themselves out.
Yeah, I don't think they're scamming, and at the end of the day, if they're making a few quid on top of it, that's on them. Yeah, like Chris is saying in chat, I don't see a problem with it at all. Receiving a benefit that doesn't create a pay-to-win environment while supporting your chosen server is surely a win for all involved, providing it isn't a requirement of entry. I think maybe some other servers need to look at it. It seems like it's a very well set up process. It's just skins and priority queue sort of stuff that I could see. What do you mean by spawn tickets? I couldn't see that bit. I couldn't get in further because I had to log in with
Apparently, spawn tickets, so you can get the spawn at either like La Patina or Northwest Airfield if you pay.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
No, but I know that some servers have that, so I don't know whether. Okay, he's got a link for it. I think that'd be arguable.
Wait, scroll up. Up again, yep. To the plans. These, I think, yeah. So if you pay 10 quid a month, you get 2 spawns, and if you pay 20 quid a month, you get spawns so you can spawn as far up as Lapatino, which is pretty much Northwest. I don't like the spawn select thing, personally, because that is a pay-to-win advantage, being able to.
I don't know. I think this is stretching the or testing the monetization policy, because you're still not actually spawning with anything. You're just spawning in. You get a range of different locations.
Yeah, but like if you spawn Lapatino, you're instantly pretty much next to Northwest, right? If I'm not mistaken. Or you're close to it.
Not. Like they're actually specifically referencing the monetization rules as well.
Yeah,
and like Chris is saying, spawning in fresh to Green Mountain is a dangerous game.
So what about if you are geared and you do spawn in up north? Or you pick, say you're geared and then you spawn in the following day and want to spawn somewhere else. That might be a bit of a.
Look, as long it's interesting. It's a very, very interesting thing. But if the gear is only something that that everyone can spawn with. It's not a pay to be spawned with gear. Again, I don't know honestly if it breaks the rules. It's just it's a hard one. It's kind of it doesn't feel right, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a bit of a. It's really sitting on the borderline in the between. Is it good or is it bad?
What section of monetization rules does it break, Rag? Because I'm failing to see it myself, mate.
I'll be right back, buddy.
Yeah, Dumpgrow, I see that, but does it affect that Bambi spawning on the coast? Yeah, what section of it, Rag Tyson? Because I've read that a few times. You could argue that it affects gameplay, but is it pay to win? Pay to win to charging players to access your server if the fees and associated perks do not affect gameplay in any way is allowed. And yeah, like Scalespeed is saying, you have to submit an application. I don't know. I don't see the. And the key word there, Dumpgra, is could. They could be geared fully in 5 minutes, where the Bambi might take 20 minutes.
That's the thing, yeah. Like if you don't pay anything, you're going to spawn down the coast. It's going to take you between 30 minutes and an hour to at least get somewhat decent gear. If you go some way up the map. Whereas, like, if you have one of these spawn selections, you could be within 5-10 minutes of getting completely geared up.
See, Rag Tyson, I see where you're coming from, and I do kind of agree. But at the same time, I've seen on 1SK, donators there can apply camo skins to all gear they're wearing. So you could argue that affects gameplay as well by making them able to pick whatever clothes they want and then apply a really good camo to it. Well, it makes you harder to see if you're camouflaged.
Depends do they allow, like, is it bright camouflages they allow or is it dark,
proper
camouflages?
All types. Right. From silly ones to good ones.
Because on those servers as well that I'm just seeing here as well, like, they have extra guns and stuff as well. So, like, if you do pay and you're spawning up north, getting guns is not going to be difficult at all. So it can be in a bit of advantage like that.
It all comes down to that if it's judged to affect gameplay.
Yeah, I think it's a bit.
I can see it both ways, to be honest.
Yeah, the spawn selecting is a bit shitty. The rest of it, like, if they're just doing skins and that's allowed, that's fine with me. I don't care about that, just as long as they're not affecting anyone else's gameplay. But yeah, the spawn selecting, I don't know. Not a fan of.
I mean, the more I think about it, the more I will say it does affect gameplay. But does it? How much does it affects your gameplay? And if you're spawning in and like someone said before, running back and getting your gear from your dead body faster than someone who also died and has to spawn on the coast, that's definitely affecting gameplay.
Yeah.
And it does say in any way. It's interesting. It's interesting. I'm certain
Yeah,
they're
it's
not the only server that does it, though.
They're the first server I've heard that do that. There probably is more out there, but they're the first one I've probably heard that do that. Like they have 3 servers and they're all full. They're without even this season passing, they're doing fine.
Yep.
Money wise, like just via donations or prior queue. It's an interesting one for sure.
See, even that's an interesting statement. Accepting donations is allowed, but to avoid any doubts, not providing donations must not prevent anyone from accessing the content. So all of those skins and stuff you must be able to find those weapons in game. Then I'm guessing.
Or does that mean when they kill one person that has those skins on that they can pick up the gun and the skin will be still there? Or clothing and stuff like that.
Selling of in-game items that don't affect gameplay and selling of cosmetic perks are allowed. Okay, so cosmetic perks are allowed.
Yeah, I think the main issue is just that spawn select thing.
Gator's got a good point there. I don't see the problem with it at all. If you don't like it, don't play that server.
Yeah, that would stop me from playing that service with that spawn select thing. But some of the
as
people
you
might
said,
like
it
it.
doesn't seem like they're struggling for players. People like
No,
the
definitely not.
model they've got. So, interesting.
I know, it's a bit of a... Yeah, I don't know.
Very, very interesting. Look, I give them kudos for trying a different model. Yeah,
Click
if
into...
you've ever run a server, you know how much the costs can add up.
Mhm. Click into the queue one up the top and see does that mention anything about buying prior queue?
Yeah, there is
Just so
priority
everybody else-
access with the other tickets.
The season pass. So I wonder, is it like, can you just separately buy? Yeah, you can. Yeah. See, like €40 is 3 months worth. It's a lot of money for 3 months worth of prior queue.
Lifetime, €150. That's fucking nearly 250 Australian dollars.
And that's on sale at the moment as well. Yeah, it's a lot of money. But I mean, look, at the end of the day, people are going to like it. Some people are.
What's clan packs?
It seems like they're really doing it for the money. Because they're like, everything on that website is buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this.
It's
a lot of
an
stuff.
extremely monetized server, isn't it?
Really, yeah. Like usually, most servers will have where you can buy a prior queue and you can donate. And that's usually it. But this is taking it to the extreme.
I wonder how much they donate to support the mods they use on their server.
Unless they're buying private mods, I'd say they aren't doing anything. Donating anything.
$50,000 plus players, 5,000 active Discord members, 3 servers.
See, look, that's high tier loot and stuff. So if you were to spawn somewhere up north and go straight to Northwest Airfield, you're going to find a gun, a fully automatic gun at that,
Hmm.
like, you know.
God damn, they've got some mods on their server.
Pretty heavily modded server, yeah.
Massive many item overhauls, so, much car key.
They've got all the usual type of, you know, popular mods on there by the looks of it.
Yeah, dumb grab. I totally agree. It is a cash grab, but yeah. I won't be signing up to play on the server, that's for sure. But
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
And yeah, it does raise the question as well. And I'm not saying they're doing anything, but what are people doing with behind the scenes transactions with such a heavily monetized system? I can guarantee you, people have said to them, "Hey, if I send you $100, will you guys spawn me in 5 orms and 10 mags for them, full of ammo?" And
Yeah. Possibility.
interesting, very, very interesting. Have to look into that one more, find out more about it. Interesting model. I salute them for trying something different. I'm never adverse to anyone making $1, but at the same time, I'd love to know, maybe they should add something there about how much they donate to support the mods that they're using to monetize. I wonder as well. Some people have in their mods not to be used on monetized servers. If you wish to do that, contact me first. I wonder if they've done that with all of these different mods. Some of these do look like they're custom ones that they probably got, but at the same time, I'm certain at least a couple of these will be mods that the modder has specifically said not to be used on monetized servers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be an idea, Gator. Get them on to talk about it, if they're interested. Vanilla Plus Plus map. Base Building Plus. I'd be worried about doing that though, because they're not the only server that monetizes what they do, and I wouldn't want to vilify them for doing what others are doing as well. Just maybe, if anything, they should be saluted for being so clear about their monetization policy.
Yeah. Interesting.
Very, very interesting. BI announcement.
Oh yeah, I linked this one. I saw on Reddit. I was just going through that there won't be any teasers for anything game related in the 20th anniversary.
I gotta say, I was disappointed.
I was too. I was at least expecting something.
Get the downvote from me.
So either the game that they're currently working on is quite a long way away from development, or God knows. Or they might be just saying that to, keep people off it, but I don't think they'd do that, but you never
And
know.
we need to reach a certain internal milestone so that we could give you a good first impression of our vision for the upcoming decades. It was such a big announcement that you thought that they would have tried to make sure something happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fun trip down Armour Memory Lane. Yeah, okay, that's nice, but fuck, it would have been nice if they had something. Maybe they will, and they're just playing coy. But yeah, I was disappointed. Oh yeah, it is what it is. And the last topic before we start getting into the spotlights, Wobo's latest video. What a cracker that was. The hidden weapon changes of DayZ 1.12. Have you watched this one, Marks?
I didn't get a chance.
Oh, mate. You need to. I'm not going to be going into it because you all know how I feel about making people go and watch it themselves so that, you know, Wobo earns his little bit of ad revenue and all the rest of it. But this one is a must-watch video, folks. The changes to weapon stats overall were quite significant. And the meta has changed a bit. Some weapons are better, some weapons are worse. You definitely want to watch this one. Probably the big one for any reason I give you. Most people look at the CR527 and say, I'm not even going to bother. It's always been shit. It's actually not shit anymore. It's actually a very decent sniper rifle.
Yeah, I remember that one being changed in
Yeah.
the update. I remember reading that in the patch notes.
And I just love the effort Wobo goes to. His videos, if I was to do something like this, you'd have me, you know, dragging in fucking MS Paint. Wobo just does such a professional effort to his stuff. And look, can I say this again? If anyone who thinks that they're a hardcore DayZ fan is not signed up to Wobo's Twitch, you need to do it. Yes, for those of you who support me here by proxy, you are a supporter of Wobo because we are the highest tier supporter, tier 3 legend, Wobo legend. We pay $25 a month. But for everyone else, there are different tiers. Please go and do it. Please support this guy. He's got 64 patrons, $387 per month. I think every month he puts out 3 or 4 good videos minimum. Plus he puts up a website. The guy deserves a lot more than what he's got. If you're not doing it, go and look in the mirror and give yourself 10 uppercuts. He's such a stalwart of the community. There's no one doing anything near as in-depth as he does. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Okay. So we did get a console topic this week. The mod mini spotlight. I wanted to shine the spotlight on this lovely mod that DeOne created for the old school DayZ server that they've now released publicly. I'll share the link, but it's got some really good vibes of Legacy DayZ. Barrel tanning and using all the different elements to create different colors, berries and bleach and nails and bark and just, yeah, absolutely amazing. Very, very nice mod. And DeOne is a top tier modder as well, folks. So, you know, this isn't going to be a half-ass mod as well. Color is determined by an inverse RGB value set by the quantity of attached dyes. Yeah. So something for people to play around with. You know, the more you can customize your character, the better it is. So definitely worth checking out. Lovely artwork that they did. I'm pretty sure Cooper made this. He's very, very talented, that guy is. So, yeah. And here is the link to the mod in the Steam Workshop as well. Would love to see this one on a few more servers as well. Speaking of, if you're really into leather making, Dumpgra has a pretty good mod as well, where it's not the instant tanning, more suited to the more hardcore servers, but one where you actually build a tanning rack and you attach the leather to it. So definitely worth checking out. Definitely worth checking out. We've also got this spotlight, which we're shining on the Invicta server. Let me just grab the Discord link for them. The community spotlight. And I will go back to the relevant page. DayZ Invicta provides a harder-than-vanilla organic roleplay Chernarus-based server. A carefully tweaked central loot economy welcomes you to overcome the odds to survive. Food, weapons, building supplies, and more are harder to come by. Build a base, bury stashes, or live on the road. Our server provides you with the grounds to make your own story. Interactions are at the centre of our community. Become a bandit, trader, hero, or hunter. The choice is yours. Within Invicta, we have chosen limited, specific game-enhancing mods to add to our server based off of our community feedback. CF, VPP admin tools, Windstride's clothing pack, code lock, notes, Invicta, breaching charge, terrain islands, builder items, RAG Land Rover Defender 110. We are a dedicated DayZ veteran staff team who are always looking to make the server the best for the community. Invicta, hardcore, organic, lightly modded, first-person perspective, and this is the IP for the server if you are interested, folks, as well. Scripted, I finish work and tune into this. Foxy's right here. But yeah, so definitely worth checking out, folks. I'm going to be trying to. Sadly for me, it is an EU-based server. Fuck, it sucks being in Australia at times, man. I love Australia. I'm a proud Australian, but it fucking sucks when it comes to DayZ servers. I've got some great servers here, but there's so many others that I really want to dip my toe into, and it's just, yeah, I've got to put up with over 300 ping for it. Vanilla Plus Plus is the one server, but the previous one that you're talking about, Gator, was old school DayZ, but it's closed now. He did that one in conjunction with Uncooper and a few others, but sadly it just never took off. Lasted about 3 months. What were you going to say, Marks?
Imagine if ping wasn't a thing.
Oh,
Fun
one day, mate. In Elon we trust, mate. He's Skynet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
no,
actually, yeah.
the ping's going to be worse, I reckon, with that.
It's about the same.
Okay. Highlights. What's your highlight for the week, Marks?
The XDK server by Kafina. It's we mentioned it last week, but I wanted to mention it again because I actually got a chance to play it earlier on.
Yep.
Completely different to what I was expecting, and a completely different like vibe. It's not the DayZ's typical vibe, spawn in, loot, run some PvP. It's very Tarkov based. So you teleport, you're in like a safe area at first, and you go over and you can teleport to a certain spawn location. You spawn into the map, and then you can go run around, loot around PvP. And then if you want to extract exactly like Tarkov, you go to one of, I think there's 6 or 7 extraction points around the map. Takes you, I think, 15 seconds to extract out. Sit there, and it brings you straight back to the extraction point again. It's completely different. Like, just a completely different vibe to DayZ. Works quite well. He's also got that new S-Gunplay mod on it and S-Visuals on it and stuff. So very, very Tarkov inspired, but I think it'll be really cool once it comes out into beta. Something completely different to DayZ.
My highlight is an easy one. Just has to be what I've got up on the screen right now. The memorial for Doc Satan. Rest in peace, buddy. He was a larger-than-life character, and I'll be sending that image straight through to Spud after the podcast so he can share it with the DayZ Down Under community. I'm certain there'll be many a can of Mad Monk Drunk there by players, although they've got some Aussie beers on the DayZ Down Under server as well. So they've got their own custom one they've done, but to know that there's going to be a permanent memorial for him in the game is just a very, very touching moment. And I'm certain As weird as it must be for people who don't understand gamer culture, I'm certain even his family and friends who aren't gamers will take some solace in knowing that their boy is going to be remembered in DayZ as well. A game that he loved very, very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for an amazing show. Bang on 2-hour mark. Wow. I hope you all enjoyed it. We'll wait for the dev team to send us through the images of the M4A1. M4A1, the M16A2. And Marks will probably share those, and I'll share them as well and get them out to the community.
I'll have a full podcast highlight video up about it tomorrow. So
yep. Excellent.
For that.
Excellent. No worries, folks. Let's find someone to pass the love on to. As always, Marks, thank you once again. See you next week. Oh, we need to say who is next week's guest. Next week is a pretty big one, actually. Let me just bring it up. We have Raelian and Jacob Mango on to discuss the AI mod that they've been working on. So that's going to be very, very good. That's the one where they've been doing the videos showing the AI reacting and working with the character. A bit Operation Flashpointy, a bit Armory. So, yeah, very, very excited to talk about that. And the week after that, we've got a pretty big guest coming on, folks. So you don't want to miss that one on June 19th either. But next week, it is Saturday, June the 12th, episode 64, with Raelian and Jacob Mango coming on to discuss the AI mod. We will see you then. Good. Marks, a pleasure as always, my man.
Great being here.
Thank you very, very much, mate. Show wouldn't be half as fun without you, buddy.
I appreciate that. I enjoy doing this.
Good. I'm glad you do, mate. I really am. I just, it's our way of being able to give back to the community, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
It is. It is. Okay, folks, we are going to go raid Wicked. Well, I actually enjoy Wicked. That clip of him with that bear in the barracks. One of the funniest DayZ clips I've ever seen. Have you seen that one?
I haven't, no.
Oh, mate, he's got about 3 bears on him or something, and they're glitching through the wall, and he's just jumping and screaming, and yeah, quite funny. Quite funny.
That's pretty funny, right?
Yeah. Okie dokie, folks. Thank you so much. Marks, I'll see you next week, and I will see the rest of you next week as well.